Charles Spencer has been gracious enough to invite me to his family estate, the Althorp home. It's been in his family for 500 years, and the antiques in this beautiful estate are the inspiration for an entire furniture line. Charles, thanks so much for having me.
Karen, what a pleasure. If you follow me, I'll give you a little tour and we'll see what it's all about.
Super, let's go.
I'm the 18th generation to live there, so everyone's left something behind of themselves and of their taste. So it's really a distilling of 500 years of European taste, I suppose.
Wow. All right, so we are in...
We're in the library. You can see in the back there, that is the original library at Althorp. So basically, the library was one of the great libraries of Europe, and in terms of the books, etc. And we now use it as a family sitting room. I very much have the philosophy at home that we live the house. It's not a museum. And I'm lucky enough, I have 7 children, which isn't bad for a Protestant. They have the run of the house. And
they have a lot of space.
They have a lot of space. And I took the view very early on, when we were kids and I was taken there, we were always told not to talk to anyone, not to touch anything. It was very old-fashioned. But my children had the run of the place, and they used these
So
pieces.
seriously, you're totally cool with your children lounging around in these beautiful fabrics and furniture.
The point is, it was never built as a museum or an exhibition. It was built as a family home. And so what happens with this collection is that all of the profits that come back to me get ploughed back into the house.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've re-roofed it. I've redone the outside. The outside, it's the first time it's been done since the 1770s, which is when I think we were fighting over American independence. So I did that for 2 years recently. And it's just great. And I take the view that, for 500 years the house has looked after the furniture, and now it's time for the dues to be paid and the furniture looks after the house.
That's a wonderful story. So let's see the rest of the home.
Sure.
Do you mind?
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, if we go just through to the next room there,
Okay.
this is more of a formal sitting room setting.
Okay.
But we do have these pieces, and so for instance, even the little pieces such as this,
Look at that.
So
this is an actual piece in your estate.
It is, and this is of Napoleon, and he gave it to his doctor when he was a prisoner at the end of his life.
No.
And my family bought it off the doctor, and we have the receipts to prove it.
And how fortunate we can actually purchase a replica, an exact replica.
Yeah, it's true, and I think that's the point.
It's a piece of history.
So you're right, this is an exact replica, but if you look at the sofa we're sitting on, that is almost an exact replica. But of course, when they built these pieces, old pieces, they weren't for comfort, they were for show. So we have incorporated this thicker upholstery, so it actually is comfortable.
It is very comfortable.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, it's stunning, but you can relax.
But I can tell you wouldn't want to have the original, because although it looks beautiful, it's so hard. Nobody could sit on it for long. It was, of course, designed at a time when the ladies would have huge dresses and they'd sit on the edge and be prepared to get up. It wasn't for comfort.
So is this the room that I should have tea time in England?
I think this is very much cucumber sandwiches and very Downton Abbey.
Where's the bell for me to ring?
Actually, it's interesting because obviously things like this are so in vogue at the moment because Downton Abbey's been such a hit.
Right.
But we had some people come around. Los Angeles Times came around Althorp, and they wrote, it makes Downton Abbey look Downton shabby.
So maybe next season they'll be filming over at
Althorp.
All right, very well. So is this what I would find in your actual dining room?
Yeah, well, we have a larger table with a long one for these chairs, and we've got 42 of these chairs. So the scale.
42. You can throw a dinner party.
I have. I've had actually in one room we had 128 people. So Karen, I'd love to, as a contrast, show you one of the bedrooms. This is the main guest bedroom at Althorp.
Beautiful.
It's called Lady Spencer's room, but. I think what we've tried to do is be as true to the original as possible, and I love the display. This blue is the same blue you would find in that.
It's very soft, restful, peaceful, and it goes back to your philosophy of living among beautiful things and beautiful furniture, but things that you can use in your life,
right,
and not just look at like a museum.
It's so true. I do think when people buy this piece of furniture, sometimes they're buying an instant family heirloom, and that's great. But I always encourage them when I meet them, I say, just enjoy it, you know? If
Right.
it gets the odd knock or chip on it, doesn't matter, that's part of your family.
It becomes part of the story
That's
of
right.
of the furniture and part of the furniture soul. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that thought.
And I've actually got a piece which I must show you, which really sums up this whole philosophy for me. And that's one of my most favourite pieces in the collection. Has a very strong American connection.
Let's go see.
So basically, Karen, this is one of my favourite pieces, and it's called the Washington Chest.
The Washington chest.
And it belonged to George Washington's family. So the short story here is that the Washingtons ran out of money in England in the early 1600s. They were related to the Spencer family, and we put them up, I suppose it sounds condescending, but as the sort of poor relations, we looked after them. And you've got the local churchyard. You can actually see the Washington star on the tombstones of some of the Washingtons there, and we've got the family records. Some of the Washington children worked as nannies, I suppose, for the children in my house.
We didn't read about this in American history, Charles.
But then this is the genuine article that when they left for America, this is an affidavit sworn by a priest in the 19th century that this always belonged to the Washington family.
So Charles, 9th Earl Spencer, is also a historian, and he's written a book on the history of Althorp.
That's right, Karen, and I've got a copy here if you'd like one.
I would love a copy.
A little memento.
My personal souvenir. Lots of happy reading ahead. Thank you, Charles.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much.